Give you a bit of history of Icon before we start, because it's a good background. We're about managing your stuff, your data, your projects, the information that you're gathering as you're building a building or you're owning it. The company's been going for about 15 years. About 10 years ago, we started building a web-based system to manage the specification for our clients. Our clients are people like Asda, Boots, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, John Lewis, and in our system, we hold the specification as data, not as PDF files and Word documents and so on. Key to our system is you enter something in once, and it's wherever you use it, there are multiple copies of it. So you don't ever duplicate things. You enter it once, and it just exists as a piece of data in our system. So we've got the specs and standards part of it. That's a specification side of our solution. We've also got a properties and project solution. So Boots uses that hugely for managing all of its properties. And Boots has got about 250,000 projects in our system. When I say a project, there's the refurbs, the new builds, the asbestos surveys, the condition surveys, and so on. It's extensively used by Boots. And they use it for the surveys and registers part of our solution as well. A couple of years ago, about 3 years ago now, a lot of our clients started talking Revit because this was the new thing. AutoCAD was going out the window and Revit was coming, talking about getting data out of Revit and so on. And so we looked at it and thought, well, hold on, we've already got the data in our system because that's what we do for you. We've got it, we've got the specification. Let's do the joined-up thinking and actually pull the data into Revit. And lots of people talking about getting data out of Revit, but hardly anybody talking about how you get it in there in the first place. We get the data in for you. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of the specification side of the system. Then we're going to look at it in Revit, and then we're going to chuck it out to Navisworks and see actually how you can use it in the field. So our specification system deals with right from the high level corporate policies. This is the way our clients want you guys to do health and safety. This is our asbestos policy, whatever, CDM regulations in the UK. That tends to be text-based. Then at a level down, we hold the client's building formats. So Sainsbury's, for example, will have large superstores, they'll have convenience stores in town, they'll have petrol filling stations. Shifting down a level, we go to the various departments that exist in a store, and then down to the individual rooms and the things that go into the rooms. So we have, this is our demonstration website. Left-hand menu is the specs and standards part of it. You see the similar links to what I was talking about before. And here on the sort of little dashboard, these are the projects I'm involved in. There's a list of some changes that have taken place, and these are some documents I've got to deal with. So it's like a working tool for you. So briefly touching on the policy side of the system, the tabs that we've got here can hold whatever information it is you need to track, and the policy section tends to be text-based. So here, health and safety manual, this is the asbestos guidelines that a particular client would have. You page all the way down the page on here, and we end up with, at the bottom of the page, every page has got a classification on it. So, and the fact, this is what's quite key here, is that's a current specification document. We've also got a sponsor, so if you want to ask a question about somebody, you go and click that and speak to Natalie McInnes, and she'll tell you why that spec is like that. If that specification gets superseded because there's a new health and safety procedure, that's superseded in our system, that page is kept as an out-of-date document because maybe you've built something to that standard in the past and you need to keep that information together. I won't go to branch formats departments. I'm going to jump straight to a room data sheet to give you a demo of the sort of data that we've got in our system. So you work through some drop-downs. We're looking at a large conference room. So this brings together all of the things you need to know about building this conference room. A couple of photographs, a floor plan, and then we've got the various bits of equipment that go in this conference room. And we've also got the quantities. So we know how many are in here. So in a large conference room, we might have 8 of these chairs. In a small conference room, there could be 6. But you've only specified the chair once. And you've said, actually, that's how many are in this room, that's how many are in that room. Little tick boxes could be there if you want to print the thing out and actually go on site and tick it. But if you had an iPad and we got the functionality, you could actually use the iPad to tick those. So if we actually look at this conference room chair and click on the link, we get the actual specification for this chair. So we are tracking a purpose, a function, a description, the manufacturer. We've got some sizes, we have a cost, and right at the bottom of this page, we've got the Revit family, the other places this thing exists, the fact that it's current, there's another contact there for it, and there's been a change. We could see the change history, see why the specification for that thing had changed. If we had a light fitting, for example, we'd be tracking other bits of data like lux and wattage, and if it was a finish, it'd be cost per square metre, whatever. A door would have all of the ironmongery attached to it. So we track different bits of data for the types of things that we're holding in the system. Going back to the room data sheet, some clients are very interested in actually when they install a room, they need to know they need a board rubber, they need bits of kit that you wouldn't ever have in a BIM model, like a Revit model, but you still need to go and install these things. So they list those in there. Here we've got the finishes, so there's bits of floor finishes, we've got the doors, we've got the ironmongery sets, and we've got the lighting. So in one sheet, we've got all the things you need to know about actually building that particular room. So the joined up thinking we were doing was, we need to bring that into Revit. Finally, before I go into Revit, we have a search button, various search options. Do it by keyword, by location, where the thing lives, by discipline, by supplier. We have a classification system, so we look at everything by ACS interiors, the little bits of kits that they supply. We have, those are all the bits of furniture and fittings. We use QR codes as well. Some clients were hoping to use them. So rather than putting a barcode on a bit of kit, you can put a QR code, scan it, and it'll take to the spec that we just looked at for that chair. So, as a summary, what we've got, you know that because it's been approved specification, that is what the client wants. You get the version history. It's the correct information in effect, in a BIM model in our system. It is a building information model that is built up so that if you're going to go and build one of these stores, you know exactly what you need to be working with. The joined up thinking then it's all about looking after your stuff. For the joined up thinking was to bring this into Revit or into another BIM software program. If it's programmed right, it will work with ArchiCAD, Vectorworks and so on. We've got all the hooks to make it work with these other packages. So we're going to have a look at the library, drag and drop a family into Revit, hyperlink back out to the spec, import the specification into our Revit model, show you the version control, and after the end of it, we'll actually put it out to Navisworks so you can see how it works. So this is a video of Revit. On the add-ins toolbar, we fire up our family library, and in real time, this makes a query to our system, whichever one it's linked to pull down the various options that are configured in the system. So the list of departments will have come in real time from our site. It's not stored on your local hard disk. So if we do a search for the conference room, these are all the things that exist in that particular department, in that particular room. There's the carpet tile we're looking at and the light fitting. So if we wanted to bring a table in, we just drag and drop that into a Revit model. Revit spotted there's already one here, so let's redefine it because it may have new graphics because it's got new, been redesigned or updated. And if we then click on that table and go and see what we've got in here, we've got a load of empty slots. The one that we have populated is a hyperlink. There's no cost. Also, we put a family version. We're versioning the Revit family, so you know you've got out-of-date families if that ever happens. Clicking the hyperlink takes you to the spec. So this is what we saw before, purpose, function, manufacturer. Click on that link, it'll give you the manufacturer's telephone number, etc. We've got the cost, lead time 2.5 weeks, various other files, and where it exists in the other rooms. So there's 2 in the large conference room, 1 in the small conference room. We can see there's been a change. If we clicked on that, we'd see the change history, what had happened to that thing. It's version 2 of the item, it's a current item, and there's the contact, Alison Thompson O'Connor, if you wanted to ask a question about it. As I said before, if that was a piece of lighting, it had different fields in there. A bit of flooring had different fields. So you could just use that family library and check it out to Revit, to Navisworks, and you'd have all the links in there. But if you wanted to get your data into your model, here we've got a schedule. Revit's counting all the things, but there's no description, there's no costs. The next part of our add-in is the import specification. So this gets Revit, this goes and looks in all the Revit families. If it finds a hyperlink, it says to our system, give me all the data about that thing, I want to know what it is. And all that gets pulled down into the Revit model, and we end up with a nice data-rich model with all the things you wanted to know. So now we have the manufacturer, it's a table folding, it's 195 euros or whatever, pounds, and we've On the fly, our systems created all these other data slots based upon what we're tracking in the system. So we haven't actually populated warranty terms or demise management, but they're there if you had the data in it. And as well, if you'd spotted, our schedule's been updated with all the costs and the descriptions and so on. So we've got a total cost for that room of £19,000 now. And you know that's right because you've held the cost in one central location. Update the cost to £196 per chair, that cost would ripple through. This next bit allows us to set colouring parameters so we can highlight things by their status, i.e. whether they're approved or they're obsolete, or the version 1 is whether it's an out-of-date Revit graphic, because we've actually updated the family in our system. So if we run colour by status, all the things that have gone red here, like that chair, that's an out-of-date specification item. It's an obsolete item. And the green ones there, those are something that's in trial. It's not yet approved by the client. It's an innovation item. That's what we call it. Things that are blue are normal items. That table there that's not coloured, for example, that's showing me that that's not a specification item. What's it doing there? It's, why have you got that table there? Raise a query to the client or check it because somebody's drawn it as a one-off. So final bits were to reset the colour and the clear data option. So just in case you wanted to send that model out to somebody else, got sensitive cost information, let's wipe it. So now we've got nothing left in here. There's a hyperlink still because that's useful, but we've wiped all the data. As well, with that hyperlink, you can only access the website if you've got a login to it. So if you did send that model out to somebody else, you're not going to compromise security by them going, oh, what is that? I'm going to log in here. You need to have a login for it. So that's our Revit solution. So summary, yeah, we have a central library with approved specifications. You know you're getting the right data. You can drag and drop it into your project design. Hyperlink back to find out what it is that you're looking at. Pull the specification in if you need to do that, but as I said, you don't need to do it. Check out-of-date graphics. And the URLs that we've got in this Revit project will get exported to Navisworks. As I said, though, it's not just Revit this will work with. It will work with other BIM packages. So now you've got the eye in your BIM model. What do you do with it? Well, you can use Autodesk Design Review, which will read DWF, DWFX, DWG, but it won't read Revit files. I don't particularly like Design Review. It's just not got a logical interface. I try to move around it and it's just kludgy. Navisworks is much better. Navisworks comes in 3 versions. Freedom is the free one. It is a big download, but it's all right. It only reads NWD files, so Navisworks document files. You can't get the free version and open up a Revit file. You've got to have a copy of the full Navisworks somewhere and import the Revit file in there and save it as an NWD file. So the full copies are Navisworks Simulate, which does those functions there, and Manage is the big one. Does cost a lot of money for Navisworks Manage. So the next bit we're going to look at as well, we're going to do a Navisworks demo, then we're going to quickly look at the issue checking and look at some of the other options when you've actually got a Navisworks file, how you can get the data, work with it. So this is Navisworks Manage, the full version. This is the office that we've been working on. So you spin around it. It is a logical moving interface to let you navigate around here. And if we go and just to help you can put the little third person on. So that's a little guy there. Gives you a bit more of a feel for where you are in the building. If I just zoom in slightly and pull it across here, then I go and switch on the links. What we've got now is little hyperlink things on here. If you go and click those, you can see what the link's going to the bottom left. That takes you to the specification for that item of equipment. So there's your chair. There's the chair assembly instructions. Could open that up with Adobe Acrobat. You'd know how to build your IKEA chair. Here we picked a blind. We've got an AutoCAD block there as well. I think finally on this demonstration we go up to the top here, have a look at a light fitting. Click on one of them. There's our light fitting, and we've got the installation guideline. So yeah, with a free piece of software, Navisworks Freedom and our site. You can get your models and zoom around them, look at them, find out what the thing is that you're meant to be installing. And just, there's any mechanical guys in here? Let's just flip over to the next one. Here we've got a bit of pipework layout and some air handling units, dampers and so on. Do the same thing here, switch on the links. Let's just get the properties window up as well to show a bit more data that we've got in here. So that's a air handling unit. A lot of information I didn't put in here. The only one that we've put in is this demo.iconsystem.co.uk hyperlink, but that will be a Sainsbury's site or a Asda site or whatever else we're linking to. Click on that. There's our air handling unit. Mitsubishi Electric Europe, it's supplied by. There's their details. We wanted to contact them. And here's the specification for it. So here you could have installation guidelines, maintenance guidelines, whatever other documents you need to be holding about that thing. You've got it in one central place, knowing that that's directly the one-to-one link to your item in your Revit model. And again, you can see that that's a current specification item, but if it had been superseded, you would want to get back to that specification, because that's what was actually installed. Maybe not using Mitsubishi air handling units, now we're using Hitachi. So the spec would be Hitachi, but that would be your linking you back to the correct information. So, as a summary, you could use Autodesk Design Review. Navisworks is much better. For the ongoing tagging and asset maintenance, we are in discussions for our clients with the likes of Versailles, Amtech, who are here at the moment. They've got a great application for asset tagging, and we're talking about linking their system so we can allow them with our API to pull the data from our site directly into the Amtech solution. So you just hover over everything in Amtech and it goes, give me all that data from Icon, let's see what it is, and the little window pops up. Click on the installation guidelines if that's what you want. So in summary, yeah, we are about, this is another slide, I forgot about this one. Just so you know, we've got about 5,300 users on our system. We're holding about 23,000 specification items across all of our clients, managing, or it's being used to manage, nearly 12,000 properties, 250,000 projects, and 3 million or so files across all of our clients. So it's extensively used in the UK. And we'd love to come and get you guys over here to be using it. Anybody's interested in that. Yeah, summary. Next steps, by the way. You've got the flyers on the table. The Icon BIM solution, if you are a Revit user, there's a free trial of it. You can get access to that model that I've shown you. You can have a play, drag and drop things into it, see how it works. And then Nick here is our sales manager. She'll be on the phone to you saying, how did you like it, and so on. If anybody's interested in seeing the other part of our system, how we manage projects and properties, how we deal with the surveys and registers and so on, come and see us at our stand, or give me a card and I'll give you a walkthrough live demo of that. Thanks very much. Any questions?